Good morning again, Hope Church. I have with me Pastor Paul Murphy and Kent Schubert, Chairman of the Elder Board. Many of you may have heard that we have formed a task group to look at the if, when, and how Hope would begin gathering again as a church. Many of us are wondering what is being recommended, what are those recommendations based on, and practically speaking, what does that mean for all of us in the days ahead? So Kent and Paul, what can you tell us?
I don't know about for you, but for me, this reminds me of car trips when my kids were really young, and that's a lot of years ago. The kids would be in the back complaining about being strapped into their car seats. My wife and I are dying to get out of the car. And invariably, one of our young daughters would ask, "How much longer?" And my wife's answer was, "Oh, about 30 minutes." It didn't matter whether we had 20 miles or 200 miles yet to go. The girls caught on, of course, and over the years, that's become kind of a stock answer in my family for lots of situations. The problem I have now is I feel more like the kid in the back seat, strapped in the car seat. How much longer? Do we have 20 miles? Do we have 200 miles? As Andy mentioned, the elders formed a task group, and on Tuesday night, they presented to, and their recommendations were endorsed by the elder board. Paul's going to highlight some of those recommendations for us.
Thanks, Kent. And I certainly agree with Kent. All of us are feeling it. We miss being together. I miss being together with you. And yet, the coronavirus is still highly contagious. And churches are one of the hotbeds where it gets passed to other people. And our church, Hope Church, is a multi-generational church. We have seniors, we have children, and we have people who have different health conditions that make them more vulnerable to it. We don't want to be spreading it to each other without intending to. Yes, the governor has allowed churches to gather at 25% of their fire capacity code, but they're also required to stick to all of the COVID safe practice requirements. As was mentioned, we have a task group, and that task group has worked hard, has talked in depth. They looked at the governor's restrictions. They also looked at current medical data and evidence. And we also looked heavily at the Bible's call to love others around us. All of that led the task group to recommend that we not yet gather together in person. And instead of that, that we continue doing life together through our online worship services, through our virtual small groups, life groups, as well as gospel communities, and through personal caring phone calls. Many of you are already doing so much of that. And we will keep staying together. I hope you'll circle June 7th. The letter attached with this video gives you more information about the task group's recommendations, and also notes that on June 7th, we're going to have a church-wide Zoom prayer and communion gathering. And some of you may have questions. You can submit those questions in advance. Just email them to the church office, and we'll try to respond to as many of those questions as time allows during that church-wide gathering on June 7th. At Hope, we've decided to take a cautious approach out of love for others. And that means stay connected even while we're not yet gathering. Continue to be patient. And we will continue to communicate regularly with updates, including the attached letter that goes with this video.
We realize this decision for Hope Church to forego meeting together for a while longer will be received in different ways. For all of us, there's a sense of sadness, of disappointment, whether we agree with the decision or we would have made a different decision. And probably all of us know somebody who goes to another church who has chosen to start meeting together. And that's a decision they've made for their own context. I ask for your patience and your prayers and your participation as we continue to seek the Lord's guidance in this journey. One way to do that is to join us in that June 7th meeting. I hope you will do that. As it says in the Gospel according to John, "By this all men will know you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." Thanks for listening, and thanks for being with us on this journey.